How African Americans Changed Modern Day Sports by Jack, Carter, and Matthew.
Jack Johnson and Jackie Robinson are pioneers in African American history and the history of segregation and racism in the United States, as well as Jim Brown, one of the most dominant running backs in NFL history. Ezar Charles was great for boxing as well. Despite their accomplishments, it was not until the late 1960s and 1970s that African American athletes were acknowledged and celebrated and helped improve race relations in the United States.
This integrates with the theme Turning Points in History because it shows how some black people were able to start and pave the way for other African Americans in America to make a living. Before these black athletes could prove themselves to the people of American teams, they never really got a chance to play. No one was willing to pay these players anything because of their race, and if they did get paid, it would be a very little amount. Some of these African American players would later go on to completely change the sport. For instance, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the second all-time leading scorer in NBA history. Although he didn't invent the hook shot, he pioneered it during his time.
Examples of players or teams that helped pave the way for modern sports are Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Magic Johnson, and the 1995 through 97 Chicago Bulls. These people and teams have had insane impacts. Whenever you think of basketball, you definitely would think of these players. This is because they are some of the greatest of all time. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the all-time point record holder until 2023 when LeBron James took the record. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen are both a part of the Chicago Bulls and are one of the most dynamic duos of all time, allowing the Bulls to be the best in the world for multiple years. Magic Johnson was a player on one of the best Lakers teams ever and was a competitor for the top.
Although Jim Brown wasn't the first black football player, he was definitely the first player to really make a difference in the breaking of the color barrier in football. He was one of the most dominant running backs as well as the best player in the NFL during his time. He was one of the first African American players to make it into the Hall of Fame. He is considered one of the best ever. On top of being a great football player, he was a civil rights activist as well. He led the Browns to an NFL championship, not the Super Bowl, in 1964. He really paved the way for black athletes to show that they can succeed at a professional level. At the time, Jim Brown crushed the salary record for a black NFL player with a salary of $50,000. After this, black athletes were also getting paid more and they were getting a better chance to make it into the NFL. He averaged 5.2 yards per carry, which a point of reference is 0.1 better than the leading rusher in the 2024 NFL season. Averaging that over 118 games is absolutely ludicrous. He only played 118 games and never missed one game. DeCon Jones, a Hall of Fame defensive end, commented on his playing ability by saying, "You don't see anyone knock him back. You see him do all the things that wonder, how the heck did he do that?" As well as being a football player, he played 3 other sports. His biggest of the sports was lacrosse. Jim Brown was one of the most dominant running backs in NFL history and really changed the sport as well as other sports.
There have been many baseball players today like Mookie Betts, Devin Williams, Aaron Judge, and many more. None of this would be possible without people like Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, Ernie Banks, Ollie Smith, and Hank Aaron. All of these people helped in different ways. For example, Jackie Robinson was the first African American to make the MLB and get into the Hall of Fame. Another example is Hank Aaron, who hit 755 home runs, almost hitting the most home runs in career history. When Jackie Robinson died, people who were inspired by Jackie Robinson made an organization for him called the Jackie Robinson Foundation. The Jackie Robinson Foundation is a public non-profit organization that administers one of the nation's premier scholarships and leadership development programs for talented college students. Boxing has an interesting impact. During the 1950s and 1990s, boxing was in its golden era. This was because the greats were still boxing back then. These people being Muhammad Ali, Joe Louis, Ezra Charles, and George Foreman. Ezra Charles was a boxer with an amazing record, beating the likes of Joe Louis, Charlie Burley, and more. John Lewis, a boxer who won a heavyweight title, played golf and did awesome, showing that everyone has options on what sport they play. Another monumental moment was the Rumble in the Jungle, a fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. This ended with Ali as a victor, but it was not as easy. Muhammad Ali was not only a boxer, but he also helped during the civil rights movement. He and Malcolm X together were key figures in the movement. All these people were vital to keep boxing a known and moving sport today.
In conclusion, these players have completely changed the sport that they've played. Thank you for listening.